Hello everyone and welcome to our YouTube video presentation. My colleagues and I are going to do a video presentation on the topic alcohol abuse in Papua New Guinea, focusing on teacher professionalism and crucial social challenges in our country. I am Melvin Paul and I am joined today by my colleagues Elton Isaac, Godfrey Nagy and Jacob Michael. While we are training to be professional teachers, we must realize that our duty extends beyond the classroom walls. We are part of the community and we see the forces that sabotage our students' future before they even walk through the school door. One of the most devastating forces currently paralyzing many parts of Papua New Guinea is alcohol abuse. According to Merriam-Webster Dictionary, alcohol abuse is defined as under substance abuse, as the excessive use of drugs such as alcohol or the use of drug without proper medical justification. It is said that the word alcohol comes from the Arabic word alka, which means body-eating spirit. It is the worst drug in the world and the one that is legal and easily accessible by everyone. Okay, today our presentation titles this exact crisis, alcohol abuse in Papua New Guinea. The purpose of our video is to provide a professional, multifaceted analysis of this epidemic, exploring not just the numbers but the deep-seated impact it has on our people, our families, and our national development. To give you a clear understanding, we have structured our analysis as follows. I will first you to first Elton Isaac, who will examine the significant medical and health crisis that alcohol abuse creates in the physical body. Following this, Godfrey Nagy will focus on the heartbreaking social impact, specifically domestic and sexual violence. And lastly, Jacob Michael will then break down the economic and legal toll from lost income to rising crime rates. Myself, I will offer a conclusion to our findings and crucially present a set of recommendations for moving forward. Now let us begin this important conversation. I now pass it to Elton.
Thank you, Melvin. As future teachers, we know a student's health is directly linked to their ability to learn. But what happens when alcohol makes them sick long before they reach our classrooms? Today I will walk you through the devastating physical and health impacts of alcohol abuse in Papua New Guinea, from the immediate dangers of binge drinking and homebrew to the long-term organ damage and finally the irreversible harm being done to our young people's brain. First, we look at the immediate dangers. We are not talking about social drinking, we are talking about the binge drinking or consuming large amount in a single setting. In PNG, this often involves cheap, homebrew or steam, which can have dangerously unpredictable alcohol levels. A 2025 report from PNG House Boom reveals a shocking truth. Illegal and unregulated alcohol now makes up a staggering 71% of alcohol sold in PNG. Within that, homebrew alone accounts for over 31% of this illegal alcohol is often toxic. The immediate physical danger is acute alcohol poisoning, which can cause respiratory failure, coma, and death. But the evidence alone doesn't stop there. During the 2022 to 2023 festive season, the Port Moresby General Hospital Adult Emergency Department reported an almost unbelievable statistics. 98% of all injuries over the Christmas and the New Year period were alcohol related. The patients ranged from just 9 years old to 55 years old. The head of emergency department, Dr. Mingo Kendino, has confirmed that more than 50% of all emergency cases are alcohol related. This is not a private health matter, it is a public emergency that is overwhelming our hospitals. Beyond the immediate trauma cases, the long-term chronic effects are quietly devastating our communities. Alcohol is a poisonous when abused over time. It leads to severe liver disease, including cirrhosis. It causes cardiovascular problems, increasing the risk of hypertension, stroke, heart attacks. It also plays a role in cancers of throat and liver. A study published in BMJ Global Health found that currently Alcohol consumption in PNG stands at 43% among adults, directly correlated with 22% hypertension rate. And here is where this crisis directly impacts our work as future teachers. Alarmingly, records confirm that the developing brains of adolescents who engage in heavy drinking suffer irreversible cognitive damage. This leads to poorer memory, reduced attention spans, and a lower executive functioning. This means a student who drinks heavily or grows up in a household where alcohol abuse is normalized, and it set a significant higher risk of leading difficulties and behavioral problems. Let me end this session with one final powerful visual news video from earlier this year that brings everything together.
The Christmas and New Year period sees a rise in trauma-related emergencies for the ambulance service and hospitals. Injuries and accidents during the festive season are often a result of excess consumption of alcohol.
At these functions or festive occasions, if there can be a designated sober person who does the driving, that would actually be recommended. And if people stick to driving within, drinking and having blood alcohol levels within recommended standard range.
As potential educators, the evidence is clear. Alcohol abuse is killing the health, the minds, and the future of our young people. I will now hand you over to Godfrey Naki to further walk you towards the impacts of alcohol consumption.
Social and family impacts comes in two forms. Number one, the crisis of violence and gender-based violence. Alcohol acts as a primary fuel for the shocking rate of gender-based violence in Papua New Guinea. In many households, intoxication is used physical, emotional, and sexual aggression. There are three things that comes under the crisis of violence and gender-based violence. Number one, normalization aggression. Under the influence of cultural inhibition often drove, leading to the use of violence as a means of resolving domestic disputes. Thirdly, community safety. Beyond the home, alcohol-fueled violence spills into the streets, leading to the troubled atmosphere of domestic crime and general atmosphere of fear for women and girls in public spaces to move around. B. The economic strain. Alcohol-related violence often stems from the misuse of paycheck, which means when the breadwinner spends the family's survival money on alcohol, the resulting confrontation frequently ends up in a physical assault. Second effect of alcohol abuse on social and family impact is breakdown of the family unit and child neglect. The family is the core of Papua New Guinea society, yet alcohol abuse is systemically dismantling this foundation. And there are two things that comes under breakdown of family unit and child neglect. Number one, erosion of trust. Chronic drinking leads to a cycle of lying, theft of household assets to the fund habit, and infidelity, which eventually breaks the marriage and the extended family's support.
According to the East Sepik Provincial Health Authority, from December 1st, 2024 to January 1st, 2025, of the 163 cases of trauma reported across all health facilities in the province, only 2 were fatalities. On January 1st, 38 cases were reported, with around 68% being alcohol-related trauma due to violence.
The second is the child neglect and trauma. Children are the silent victims, meaning resources meant for school fees, nutrition, and the healthcare are all diverted to alcohol. And this leads to, there are certain things that leads to child neglect. And number one is stunting and malnutrition. Lack of food in the home due to diverted funds. Number two, educational dropout. Families unable to avoid basic school requirements, that leads to educational dropouts. And number three is psychological scaring. Children grow up in a violent environment, often suffer from anxiety and are more likely to repercolate these substance abuse patterns in their adulthood.
Outside the realms of law and order. People here fight over almost anything, but the main triggers are land, pigs and women. Tempers are fueled by alcohol and drugs.
Loss of role models is the last one. In many communities, the traditional role of leaders and fathers as protectors is being replaced by the culture of intoxication, leaving the youth without stable guidance. This intersection of alcohol and social breakdown in the PNG creates a poverty trap. That means the money spent on the alcohol is a direct withdrawal from the country's human capital, specifically the safety of the women and children and their future. I now pass it to Jacob Michael to discuss the economic cost in the community.
Thank you, Godfrey. I'll be speaking on economic and community impacts of alcohol abuse. There are two main impacts to be discussed. Number one, personal and community economic drain. As potential teachers, we often see our students' families struggling to pay fees. Yet, if we are to be professional, we must acknowledge that some of these struggle is caused by massive economic seaborne, that is alcohol abuse. The personal economic drain is catastrophic. Money that is vital for survival, for buying food, paying school fees, or investing in small business is quartered on alcohol, particularly expensive factory-made beer or dangerous, addictive homebrew known locally as steam or jungle juice. This keeps family trapped in poverty. The initial drain translates into a massive community economic loss. For business across the country, alcohol leads to absenteeism, where workers fail to show up due to being drunken or hangover. It reduces productivity and creates job losses, destabilizing the national workforce. Second point to be discussed is on community safety, crime and road accidents. Beyond the money, alcohol paralyzes community safety. Public disorder, drunken barrels, and antisocial behavior have become common in many parts of the country. From our villages to our main cities, alcohol abuse fueled rising crime rates, particularly thieves and public nuisance.
COIM emphasized the serious impact of alcohol on mental health and well-being during his address at the opening of the 50th Annual Medical Symposium.
If you look at all the trauma cases that is being and follow the link, some of the tribal fights that are happening, which is the biggest contributor of the trauma cases that we have. The tribal fights, majority of them are caused by alcohol related.
Finally, and not the least, we must address our road safety. A significant proportion of catastrophic road traffic accidents in PNG, which cause loss of life and expensive property damage, are directly attributed to drunken driving. The total cost of the state is infrastructure damage, loss of productive lives, and hospital cares.
The Enga Hospital has seen over 1,000 cases of accidents and emergencies that are alcohol-related, according to the head of emergency, Dr. Alex Piawi. 3 out of 10 of these cases are death reports.
We do receive a lot of cases related to alcohol. Some would not report to the hospital, but at least 5 patients a day.
Annually, this is not a private issue. It's a public emergency. I now pass you to Melvin Paul for the conclusion and vital recommendations.
Okay, thank you, Jacob. Michael, we have presented a multifaceted analysis of the alcohol crisis paralyzing Papua New Guinea. In the introduction, I set the stage showing that this is a professional priority. Although Isaac provided a stark medical reality of what alcohol is doing to our bodies and health systems. And Godfrey Nagy exposed the heartbreaking social impact on families, and the direct link to domestic and sexual violence. And finally, Jacob analyzed the profound economic and legal drain that is hindering our communities and national safety. To wrap up our findings, the facts are very, very clear. Alcohol abuse in PNC is not a personal failure. It is a multi-layered crisis that is eroding the physical, social, and economic health of our entire nation. It sabotages the potential of our future generation before they can even receive an education. But as professionals, we must not just describe a problem. We must present solutions as well. Our group proposes a set of concrete, integrated recommendations to address this emergency. My fellow colleagues, the presenters have provided the facts and evidences that alcohol greatly affects the lives of our people and their livelihoods. First, we must demand a stricter policy and enforcement. Our government must strictly enforce existing liquor licensing laws and review outdated legislation. We need to standardize and reduce operating hours for liquor outlets across all the provinces. Crucially, there must be a nationwide crackdown on the production, distribution and sales of illicit, highly dangerous homebrew like steam or paiwara or jungle juice. This requires empowering local community leaders and a Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary. Second, we must prioritize public awareness and education. As potential teachers, we believe in the power of knowledge. We recommend widespread culturally sensitive education campaigns. These should not be don't drink messages, which have been ineffective over time. Instead, they must focus on the real-world dangers of binge drinking, its medical consequences, and its link to violence. This education must start early in the schools and reinforced by the community and religious leaders. Thirdly, we must invest in accessible treatment and support. Addiction is a medical condition and it is not just a moral failing. The government and the non-government organization must fund accessible rehabilitation programs and community-based counseling services. We must also establish support systems for both the individuals suffering from addiction and the families who suffer from resulting violence and need. To conclude and summarize our presentation, the crisis of alcohol abuse in Papua New Guinea demands a professional response. By addressing the health, social and economic impacts with stricter enforcement, education and support, we can begin to heal our communities and protect the potential of our people. We must act now for better tomorrow. Thank you for watching our video presentation and God bless you all.